in a chair. In a chair or in half lotus position on ground, bring your mind to the focus of the body. Close your eyes and focus your mind on this fathom-long body in a sequence. Let us say, first place your mind on the top of the head, then bring it down, face the head, the neck area, the thoracic area and the two hands, the chest area, abdomen area, and the hip area, two legs, knee joints, calf area, and the ankle area, and the end of the feet. Now your mind is placed at the toes of your body. Now bring it up slowly, the same manner, up to the top of the head, by which exercise you focus on this fathom-long body. When mind is very focused on the body, sometimes you may get a mental image of that posture you have adapted to in your mind. May this body, which the mind is focused now, be calm, be relaxed, and be healthy. Relax your body very well without getting to sloth and torpor. Relax very well. And now move your mind to the entire past in your life, whatever you could remember. Let it be meritorious, demeritorious, or whatever it is, the entire past. Reflect this way. The entire past is nothing but 5 aggregates, or mind and matter, arise due to cause and effect of the universe, has arisen and passed away. Therefore, past is uncertain, and as self, I can't hold on. In Pali, you are unable to get to upadhana with the past. Effectively, you let go of the past. With that move, your restlessness settles down. Now you take the mind to the future. Any kid knows that the future has yet not arisen, but future to arise, cause and effect, should, led by conditionality, leads to creation of 5 aggregates of mind and matter. So even in future, what arises is the 5 aggregates of mind and matter. Mind and matter is uncertain. Therefore, one even cannot hold on to the future. Therefore, let go of the future. There's only one place the mind to come, this moment. This moment, bring your mind to this moment. To get at this moment precisely, watch the breathing which is taking place at this moment. Bring your mind to the end of the nostrils and watch the breathing. That is the best technique to focus this moment. Keep focusing until your mind is out from what's happening outside. having concentrated this moment, you would very well understand that Nibbana is not something in the past. Nibbana is not in the future. Nibbana is at this very moment. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. This very fraction of a technique to bring your mind to present moment would help you to concentrate the desana and perceive Dhamma in a practical way so that your mundane life will be successful and you will attain Nibbana, Margaphala in this birth itself. Let's commence the discussion. As a topic, I declared to our devotee Manori that the subject should be mindfulness in a secular world. Let's understand what secular is first. Secular means where people are disconnected from the religion. You know that when you look around to your families, among the friends and large in society, people are getting disconnected from religion as they have too much choice and luxuries at their disposal. This is what you call Kali Yuga, or what's the present scenario of the human world. But in such a scenario, how one could be at the vicinity of Nibbana? Servants of Buddha society have been surviving for the last many decades, and their endeavor is to bring the human to the vicinity of Nibbana. So with the little time available to us, let us focus on, in a secular world, how we are going to achieve or get to the vicinity of Nibbana or achieve Nibbana, as there's so much a theory going around. There are so many sermons in Sri Lanka. Through the channels, Dhamma is broadcasted practically every hour. But when you look around in Sri Lanka or in the world, is that Dhamma penetrating to the people? Are they making use of it? Keep aside being vicinity to Nibbana. To get to Nibbana, number one is virtues, your conduct, your mentality. Is it progressing or is it deteriorating? You and I can remember as a young guy and even my mid-age, we have been visiting servants of Buddha Maitriya Hall when the late Most Honorable Bogoda Premaratna and Alec Robinson was delivering sermons. From that time to now, 2020, have we developed or have we deteriorated? In a large scale, there are people who have developed. That's how even I got into the ropes. But in large the society, there is a huge deterioration. And there's Mahasangha who declares that one cannot achieve even so on during this time, that you have to wait until the Maitri, the Buddha. And also the literature has given us the wrong information that the last Rahatan Vahanse was Kurunagala Maliyadeva Rahatan Vahanse. It's a brainwash. So let us get out from this traditional frame and experience ourselves that Nibbana is something you gain at this moment if you follow the path. With such comments, I declare the guideline for the next few hours. These sermons are held to celebrate the Vesak for 2020. And this is the second week after the Enlightenment. In actual scenario, you go back to 2,560 odd years, Buddha, in this week, stands in front of the Bodhi tree and conducts his Animisalochana, the lesson, great lesson he gave it to the world to practice and also frame themselves on gratefulness. That week ends today. It's a coincidence that the last sermon ends at the day where the second week of Satsatya is ending. Whatever, at the feet of the Bodhi tree, in the morning of Vesak day, he uttered this gatha or the passage. Aneka jati sansaram sandha vissam anibvisam gahakarakam gavesanto dukkha jati punappunam gahakaraka dittosi punageham nakahasi sabbhate pasuka bagga gahakutam visankitam visankara gatan chittam tanhanam kayamajjagati. All Buddhist children also knows this, as it had been taught in the Dhampasala, or you read about it. But have we taken notice of this? What's the meaning of this? Many a birth I traversed in these roads of lives and deaths, vainly seeking the builder of this house. What is this house? This life, the body that we have possessed on the planet Earth, which is sorrowful and gives repeated birth. O house builder or the architect, you are seen, never again shall you build this house. All the rafters are broken and destroyed. The ridgepole is shattered. My mind is gone to dissolution. I have attained the end of craving. See how beautiful that statement is. But as Buddhists or the world, did we get this message? Did we get this message clear? Vesak has passed, second week. Vesak, original day he enlightened, has passed into 2,560 odd years. Have we got this message? Or in a so-called developed world, where the choices and luxuries are so much, and people have no time to sit and remove the rafters, they have full time. We are all, most of us on this planet Earth, 7 billion people, humans, are hammering the rafters back and forth from morning to evening. Even the participants, are you doing that? Yes, we are doing it. We call it living, we call it working, we call it competition, we call it politics, we call it so many things. We keep hammering, even the pincomers we do. All these great pincomers we do, we keep on hammering the rafters. I did it. That was fantastic. With that virtue, let me born again in the divine world. May I be born in the Brahma world. May I reach Maitriya the Buddha. So, subject we discussed today is how to remove the rafters. Even in your house, it's no house, although you have all luxuries inside, if there's no roof. Roof rests on the rafters. Rafters are the defilements, keles. What are keles? That's an all mind-related situation. There are 1,500 odd keles. It's no time to go into details, but you and I, anybody know what spoils our mind? What makes our mind ugly? That's all keles in very short. And where does the keles lies on the ridgepole, the rafters lay of fitted onto a ridgepole. Without the ridgepole, rafters can't remain. So what is the ridgepole Buddha mentioned at the day of the enlightenment? That was nothing but self. Ridgepole is nothing but self. As far as self and ego is maintained, all beings keep on hammering this rafters, keles, and you continue the existence. Let us see how we are going to move into the direction Buddha said, how to destroy the roof, how to remove the rafters, how to remove the ridge pole. To that regard, remember very well that Buddhism is for intelligentsia. That's why in a world of 7 billion people who understand this theory, or who at least know that there is a blessed one, there's a worthy one, and there's a fully enlightened one appeared into this world. But we keep on telling Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma. Before writing anything, reading anything, meeting, we say. But that stanza, that statement, what happens is you realize that there's a fully enlightened one. Not that fully enlightened one is a statue, or which is used for landscaping today, or in a house to have a lampshade or whatever it is, or place it in the hall as an exhibition item, or nice art drawn by some famous guy. And that's not enlightened one. You will only understand what is enlightened if you get on to the path. There, if Buddhism is for intelligentsia, that's why people who understand this theory, or in a country where more than nearly 80% are Buddhist, only very few understand that he is fully enlightened, or fully understand what the Dhamma he declared, how to make use of it, to make your lay or ordained life successful, and to reach Nibbana in this life itself. How to do this? It's very clear. The path is in very short due to time restriction. Buddhism has to be understood in threefold: Pariyapti, the theory; Pratipatti, the training; Prativeda is the actualization to reach the liberation. There, what is Pariyapti? Is knowledge you gain by reading, present day, get into Google, get into Tripitaka, listening Dhamma, get into forums, get into seminars, and learn Dhamma. The degree of that is very high. A lot of people knows Dhamma, but are they practicing? Then what happened to Sri Lanka? Why did we become the poorest, one of the poorest states in the world, while Buddhism is the state religion? Has the priest guided us properly, or priest guided Buddhism only as theory? Didn't our people train us? Yes, it happened. There are very great lay and I think Servants of Buddha Association is a place where you created such holy personalities. So was the ordained. They were very valuable clergy, like now Yane Ari Dhammahamaduro, Dankande Dhammaratana Hamaduro, and so many to Walane Amathagaveshi Hamaduro. Such prelates gave this theory and got the people to get up from this deep slumber that the Buddhist are, that Nibbana is something you wish. Please remember, theory will not help. That's where we went wrong. There's experts on Dhamma, experts on Abhidhamma. So many books written, so much of Dhamma is Desana, but we didn't get into Pratipatti. We were experts in theory. Sri Lanka is famous for that, but didn't get to Pratipatti. During a survey I had to do on some counseling, I had to visit a place where there were so many very highly qualified PhD people. But the little questionnaire there was, one question was, when did you meditate last? And when did you do Kaya Anupassana? answer from all those qualified people was, Velane. No time for that, because we are lecturing, we are doing so many, writing books, taking past papers, all that. Kayanupassana, the day we got ordained, when the hair was cut and placed on our palm, we said, Kesa Loman. After that, no. Why? We were busy in studying. No wonder Sri Lanka, we got on to the payments and shouting, and we became the most poorest state, one of the poorest states in the world. Please think about it. Not too late to correct ourselves. Because Dhamma sermons could be given and I can display my awareness of Dhamma. That would not help the devotees. When an elephant is stuck in the mud, he has to be pulled out by another elephant who's not in the mud. He has to be on the dry ground. Then only he would pull the elephant out. Therefore, dear devotees, don't stick to theory, which is very common now. Get to Pratipatti. We just recited Pansel. We just said, I abstain from killing living beings. Then are people aware of it? But they jump and set fire to houses. Some bhikkhus are leading it. What's happening around? Are they abstaining, killing living beings? We abstain from stealing. That burning house, people take goods and run away. In a country where 75% Buddhists are there, and where morning till evening Dhamma is recited, Parittas is recited, junction to junction there are Buddha statues, kilometer to kilometer there are temples. What's happening? Are we abstaining in stealing? Everywhere they play out, from top to bottom. Let it be private sector, government sector. Let it be to the vegetable vendor, he tries to place you out with weighing the stuff. Abstaining from sexual misconduct, there's a very large arena to discuss, but that is to be restrained in senses, in short. But with the world, with luxury and choice more, very rarely people, we say as a Gatha, Silpada or as Pansel, we take that, but we don't practice it. And then, how are we abstaining? Today, Ajiva Astamaka Sila, one of the decisions we have taken, that's good, fine. Abstaining from lying. Visunavacha, do we abstain is tail bearing. There's so much of tail bearing going wrong. Okelam, are we abstaining from harsh words? Our bhikkhus refrain fully on harsh words. When you look at TV, it's pathetic. Pathetic how people, priests in the robe, fighting on the roads, pushing the barricades and shouting bottom of their throat with utter filth. So is if they are called to the police station or somewhere, they go to a government department. If they can't get the favor done in the wrong way, they keep shouting. Then, are these harsh words? Are they abstaining? And finally, the foolish babble, or we call it gossip, damaging others. Sometimes people talk to each other. That's not gossip. You may call your good friend as, how are you, my dear? How is your illness? Are you okay now? Do you have food to eat? That's not gossip. You call your mother or father, Amma, Tata, how are you, mom and pop? How are you keeping? Shall we go out in the evening for dinner? That's not gossip. Gossip and all these harsh words, tale-bearing, lying, and leading to sexual misconduct is today done through the electronic media. The same media we are using to propagate Dhamma through Zoom is propagating all these other things, lying, tale-bearing, harsh words, foolish babble. Priest, everybody, they claim oneself arahat, but few words uttering knows that you are not restrained in senses. So therefore, devotees, be mindful that you practice pratipatti. I know the very respected, educated dayakas of servants of Buddha. Training is, so therefore, we associate some of the lay people. I am not scared or to claim this. There are much more, the lay people, there are some lay people who are into insights, who lead very, very respectable lives and also help society so much when society in trouble. And they are better than some of the people who hide behind the rope in the name of Buddhism. Unless we correct that place, however much sermons we keep on declaring or spend time, this whole place will not go correct. So at least the people who listen, useless theory if you don't practice. Practice, we started with these precepts. Now we have to practice it. We have to practice so that the younger generation, people at home, your children, your friends realize, look here, this guy is a gentleman to fingertips. He knows Dhamma. If people who lead this country knows exactly what Pratipatti is, they would know when to let go, when to retire. In the world, any leader of the country has a fixed term, either 1, 2, or 3. After that, they say goodbye, they retire, they live as respected citizens, and they are respected so much in their countries, in their country yard or whatever. Here, they come back, the leader of the country come back to the constitution, back again at the lowest level of an MP or something like that. Why? They don't know how to let go. Ataharinda purudu pariyatti, training well, train velana. But every poor day there are Dhamma desanas in their palaces, residences, attended by thousands, all are in white design. You know, I call it white fashion. Ladies are with all the white fashion, and the men are in national, and they look so holy outside. What's happening? Why did we become a poorer state when Dhamma was declared at the residences of the leaders of the country? Why? This training went into the jungle. They only listened just to get onto media, just to indicate to the people that they are good Buddhists and to keep the Mahasangha going, you understand. All religions become very aristocratic. Christianity was a very simple thing. Jesus and the followers, the saints, Buddha and the 60 disciples. Later it became an institution. Moment any truth in the world become an institution, corruption do leaks in. Buddha declared it very clearly in the Sutta Pitaka so many times. The times to come, Pancha Abhijna, Ashtasamapatti, Rahatan Vahanse would vanish from this planet Earth. And only Vidarshana Ayanika, Rahatan Vahanse would available. Time he declared is the present time which you and I are living. Time is running out according to his last words. I didn't mention that at the sermon. Our topic is the first declaration he had under the Bodhi tree. So therefore, with training also, now with these precepts, what are we going to do? Are we Buddhists just because we declared it? Or I'll refrain in lying, tale-bearing, harsh words. Okay, you'll be a very fine, nice. I told you, you'll be a gentleman to fingertips if you keep up to the precepts. You'll be a very, very disciplined lady who has a lot of finesse in you. But we need to get into Prativeda. Prativeda is actualization. All the Dhamma that we have heard during past so many years has to put to practicality. We have to do our practicals. That's called Sila Samadhi Prajna. Buddha declared a very, very clear path, which is not rocket science. Please remember that it's not rocket science. People read Abhidhamma and you get scared. No, that's a detail. Abhidhamma is a detailed analysis of the process of the mind for very, very high learned people. In society, you may have a guy O-level qualified. The way he perceives things is at that level. If you are qualified A-level, it's that level. If you are a graduate, if you are an MSc guy, if you have a doctorate, if you have done postdoctorate, then your subject matter which you are qualified, the way you get about with that is according to that knowledge. So that training will have to be smoothly transcends to wisdom. That is prativeda, actualization. So see how fantastic the path Buddha said. To take the whole Tripitaka, entire theory, how to get to vicinity of Nibbana is pariyatti, pratipatti, prativeda. Inside that, there are asuhara daha dharma skandha. There are 84,000 sections explaining this Dhamma. If you go to be an expert on all this 84,000, you will make a pudding out of it. You will not come out and gain Nibbana. Buddha said, use Dhamma as a raft to cross the ocean of samsara. Don't carry it in your back once you reach the shores. Please remember that. Please remember that. And therefore, let us discuss in the next about half an hour left. Shall we discuss how to develop this self-actualization? Now we got to precepts. What is this precepts? The basic of that should be, I train my mind not to do it. There you are. When that bad thought arises in my mind, I restrain in doing it because it's bad, wicked, and harmful and dangerous. Therefore, I refrain. That should be the taking of precepts. As adults, we are mature, we have a sense of reasoning, and we do not blindly follow. Very, very important. As adults, we are mature, we have sense of reasoning. That's all Dhamma is. The sense of reasoning. Swakkato, Bhagavata, Dhammo, Sandittiko, Akaliko, Ehipassiko, Opanayiko, Pachattam Vechita. Therefore, we don't blindly follow something. Somebody says, sir, you want to get to divine world, do this pinkam, let go and wrap around some yards and yards of cloth around a chaitya. I will not blindly go there. I may go and watch and say sadhu, I can give a contribution, but I will not be misled by it. Just because a chaitya is covered with flowers, I will not get misled by it. And merely I offer Atapirikar where that priest can't merely use it or even to cover his body during his sleep, because it's the chivara there is not done to the proper measurements. And still they shove in a very blunt razor, it's called Dalipi here. When there are fantastic razors available, nobody had guts to put a packet of razors, big or whatever it is, into that and say, sir, here, please use it. Why? That's because we don't practice, we don't agree that we have sense of reasoning, and we just blindly follow. Atapirikaras are offered galore to temples. I wrote to my devotee Manori. I'm sure she will not circulate it because that's confidential. What happens to Atapirika? It has become a trading item in temples. But we continue in a society where inflation is coming close to 40%. We still give Atapirika rupees, not a single priest uses it. And it's beyond 5,000 now. Let's correct the system now itself. Let's at least the educated once in this Colombo bound or wherever overseas, rethink this process. And rather than a system change, in Sri Lanka, they're shouting for a system change. Let's do a system change into the training and prativeda, the actualization process we have been following. Something has grown somewhere. That's what we can't achieve. Nibbana in this secular age. And therefore, then next thing is, if we are adults, mature, sense of reasoning, and we do not blindly follow, then we get to precepts then of training yourself, and you refrain from it. Why? That's because there are 5 mental blocks which prevents you and I from achieving Nibbana. That's called Nivarana, or the hindrances. Nivarana are hindrances. You all know the sensual pleasures. The subject is vicinity of Nibbana in a secular age. In secular age, people don't have time for religions because there's so much of choice and luxuries around. There's so much of choice and luxuries around. Go to a wedding, go to almsgiving, just see what's happening. We are supposed to refrain in enjoying the varieties of food. We have to keep away. We are given a begging bowl to go from house to house and fetch it. But sit at a 7-star Dane, and even Dane has 7-star, 5-star, 4-star, 2-star. So sit at a 7-star Dane and see what's happening. Then that refrainment get out, and sensual pleasure has leaked into you in a very disguised way. So therefore, devotees, 4 hindrances: the sensual pleasure, ill will, sloth and torpor, or we call it now, that's sloth, torpor is a very old term, we call it negative thinking. Negativeness in you, that you can't, you're tired, you go to sleep, or you doze. In my experience, in all meditation retreats, first 20 minutes, 25% start nodding. That's my experience. I've been telling this to everybody. So you have to get out of that. Why? That is because you are negative. You are tired of life. Especially in this scenario, it will be very difficult. Times to come. That's what Buddha said. Me dharme kalete ano. Vanavadino. Why? People can't. There's so much of luxuries and comforts you want. You can't get at it. So you are tired, blaming from morning till evening, cursing everybody around, regretting. And at the end of the day, you are tired. And you don't relax what we did at the beginning. You are cling to the past. So there's so much of restlessness. There's so much of stress about the future. If stress is there, and if you are resenting, there's no Nibbana in the vicinity. There's no Nibbana in the vicinity. So one has to train himself and get into Prativeda. The first benchmark is to be virtuous. Virtuous is not wearing white and going to the temple. Sleep until those, just nod out throughout the sermons. They call it meditation session. A priest comes and give a theoretical explanation of 1 to 2 hours what meditation is. And grannies, everybody go with their children, folk, everybody around, they eat, drink, they munch various things. Wait for Dhaniki, Buddha Puja, again, take a good nap in the evening, come home. That's not Sila. Sila is just like you, leading a lay life, leading a very successful career. If I am a priest, I should lead my Pavadi life, or the life which I achieved through giving up lay life, to a tune that I am virtuous. We have 220 precepts, which was declared 2,560 years old. It's not a joke to keep up to it in the year 2020 or in a secular age. You need a lot of effort. You need to understand Dhamma. You have to be full, you have to be well aware of Pariyapti theory, and you have to get into training, sacrificing so many things. So therefore, hindrances, keeping down, tadanga vikambana, there are so many stages. With virtues, the hindrances go down, get to not active stage, but a non-active situation. What happens? Just like you make hoppers or whatever, any lady knows, that pan has to be heated up properly. If the pan is heated, then whatever the hopper you make comes well. So like that, sealer is like the pan, get it to the correct temperature. Once the hindrances are down, Buddha recommends, then develop your mind. Sachitta pariyodapana. Sabbapa passa akaranam. Kusala supasampada is the virtues which is the first step of training prativeda, pratipatti. What happens? Then with hindrances getting sort of at your control, you keep it down, you keep the naughty 5 in discipline down there, then you develop your mind. As you know, mind travels faster than the light. Light travels 300 million times per second, 300 million meters per second. Mind travels 3 or 4 times more. NASA has proved it. So all kusala you do and all akusala you do to fill that kit back, what you bring at birth, mother and father make the initial material form. But that material form can't grow, can't multiply unless kaya vinyati, vachi vinyati, all that has to take place with kaya dasaka, bhava dasaka, vattu dasaka. Like that, consciousness, chitta the rupa ativendo. Consciousness related material has to start. Like the hadevat rupa has to come in. That is conscious. What is that conscious? You are all married, leading people who lead lives or not. You bring 3 children up. You feed them with the same food, same family background, same education, but the 3 guys are different. They pretend to be brothers and sisters, father and mother under one roof, and they show the world they are the same. Ask from your heart, are they the same? No, 3 are different. Their moods are different, their values are different, how they perceive it. But we all pretend to the world, we are one unit. Same thing in the priest. It's worse in a priest. Temples, you get jnanattakaya, jnanattasanya. At home, at least, children are brought up in a certain environment. They see their mother and father behaving, getting about. They are aware of what they associate, friends, family friends. And if you are going to a good college, you know the manners. The college where I went, they say, we sing the college song. School where our fathers learn the way before us. Learn of books and learn of men. Don't you think, although done with Christians, it's nothing but Buddhism. It's nothing but training. Learn of books and learn of men. And we will do the same. If there are royalists in the forum, I'm sure I'm not telling about that. But see that song, get to the core of it, get to the meaning. That's what Buddha said, theory, training, and actualization. But in a temple is different. Priests come from various folks. Mainly people come from very poor backgrounds. Sometimes they have not received love and care from their parents. Since I became a priest, I have done this research myself in my silence. They come from various backgrounds. They have not gone to good schools. They have lived in very, very bad poverty conditions. And they get into this pond. There's so much of food. There's so much of money around. People offer. Recently, a young guy, 13 years, came to Colombo to get into a major pirivana. His head priest came and handed over him to be here for 1 week. Then next week, we have to hand over him to a pirivana lead in Colombo. In the evening, I looked at this chap. He is very excited because he first time in Colombo, he's looking around. In the evening, I want to give him some gilampasa. Although I'm an elderly priest, I mean, our mannerism is that whoever visits, we have to look after. I went with the tea. He's watching the Android phone, a latest Android, one of the latest, Ayat Puta Swamin Wahanse කොහෙන්ද මේක හම්බුනේ? නෑ මම කොළඹ එනවයි කිව්වහම ගිය සැරේ කටින කරේ කොළඹ පොහොසත් මහත්තයෙක් එයා මට දුන්නා. And who destroys Buddhism? Church? Islam? Or are we destroying ourselves? We are destroying ourselves. Now there's a fashion that the people who go into rural areas and cut in a pinkamas. They do the same mistake in Colombo, decorate the place, create that whole Aranya into a sensuous outlook. From outside, it's fantastic. The villagers get baffled looking at. I went for something off Anuradhapura region. I was so sad. My driver said, "You look very sad." I said, "See how this monster is eating up the villagers." I will not mention who did the katina, but it was full of luxury, and the young priests were jumping up because it's the first time they're seeing. So therefore, my devotees, please see that whatever pinkama you do, that hindrances are kept down. And Buddha gave next stage 40 meditative items to develop your concentration. I have no time to explain. From 40 Buddhanusati, Dhammanusati, Sanghanusati is all Buddhist related. Check yourself, you are educated. Watch breathing. To come to this moment, I said, watch breathing. You don't want a religion to do that. Watch the impurity of the body. Do you need a religion to do that? To mind your footsteps when you're walking, or mind your movements of the hand when you're wearing your garment, sari, or let it be the chivara. To watch that movement, have you got to have a religion? It's like that. Sampajannakari hoti. In your minutes, I just said last time sermon, Sampajannaka, that is the core thing. The clear comprehension. Sampajannakari, Buddha showed 4 aspects of comprehension. No time to explain, but keep that in mind. All these virtues, the pariyatti theory and training has to bring you this comprehension, which is the tool to get to insights or to attain, to find vicinity to the Nibbana. Therefore, devotees, if one takes these meditative subjects, why are you taking? Because mind is running faster than the light. It's not easy to stop. There's no other mechanism on planet Earth to stop this mind. The whole planet is designed, the nature, what man created stuff, everything is. As a young person, I'm sure you never had the responsibility looking after your house. You ate, drink what the parents gave you, are married. But now you have an entire house as your burden. You have to look after it, dust it, look after from the thieves and run. Wait and see, once inflation goes up to 40, what happens? People jump into your house and take things away from you, like in some countries. So in such condition, what happened? Stopping the mind through the concentrate samadhi. Buddha gave 4 clear steps doing that. Again, not rocket science. You'll watch your mind by being at the present moment. We call it aramuna gannawa, aramunehi innava, aramuna tula sansidana, vitakka, vichara, piti, sukha, ekaggata in Pali. In English, taking the meditative thought, let it be one of the 40. Let it be breathing or anything. Then sustain it. Are we not used to sustaining thought? Why not? If you are attached to something, that thought keeps on coming. Sometimes we don't know, our tea is brought forward. Sometimes you miss the bus in the bus stand. Sometimes you forget you are in the traffic light, but because your mind is attached to that person or whatever it is, I will not declare, that you are there. You are stuck with that thought. So that sustainment that you do in normal life without awareness, do it in a trained way, sustain that thought. Take the thought, sustain. What happens? What was running, designed to run faster than the light, start relaxing. it relaxes in two aspects. Any thought has two aspects. Any movement in this universe, mind and matter. What happens? The thought that you take, the material aspects of it start relaxing. If it's breathing, there's a point that you don't feel breathing physically anymore. What's happening? PT, joy and zest. Zest is not the tea advertised in Sri Lanka. They show a very sensual thing to advertise. Zest is not that. Zest is the relaxation of the mind. The body relaxes, piti. Sukha is the mind, what was running faster than the light has coming to a still. The next border of it, you are at the border of concentration. No need to stay for 16 hours. It's just there at a spur of a second. Concentration comes within this, because all these mind processes, vitakka, vichara, piti, sukha, ekaggata, it's just a mind moment. So don't think that it takes so many hours to come. If you do it properly, the results are there. Akaliko. Akaliko. Results are assured. See how beautiful the Dhamma is. Results are assured. And therefore, devotees, tell your friends, from servants of Buddha, please propagate meditation more than the theories. Sorry to tell this, but in a secular world where people don't have time for religions, professionals do it at companies to make their profits up. That's okay. At least some parliaments do that. They're very disciplined parliament, not here. Most of the European countries, they do meditation at the beginning of the session. However, that should concentration, then how to get to Prativeda is through meditation. See that beautiful, practical, results-oriented past. Keep your mind on to Swakato, perfectly expounded, seen here and now, results are there, free of doubt, on words leading. It leads on, it has no reverse gear in that. People get to reverse because they don't do the proper job. They are not committed to meditation. They want results later. Passe, nivan dakinne Maitriya buduhamudara. How can you get to vicinity or Nibbana? You're postponing. And also, that needs to, that concentrated mind, if you keep Hariyata Nikam, there's a Sinhala simile, Kaduwa tiyenni yuddhatada koskotanda. That's a famous, there's a sword, is it to chop the jackfruit or to take to the bow? Then the sharpness in your mind has to be used to develop your insight. That's called vidarshana. That's exactly the door which opens to Prativeda, the third aspect, that is liberation. How come that? The devotee with a sharp mind, he gets back to the meditative thought he just had few minutes back and say, hey, come on, what is this breathing? There's a material aspect. There's a column of air getting into the nostrils, getting out. What is that? Through insight, also with the help of the memory and what he has studied theoretically, and also practically what he has earned during his lifetime, he realizes, this is the four basic elements which arise due to the law of nature. There he touches the cause and effect. You don't separately meditate and learn the cause and effect. It's the air element. The breathing is nothing but the creation of nature. Irtu niyama. What is the hard element, liquid element? More evident is the air element. Then he contemplates, where does this bundle of or mass of elements touches. It touches the nose. Then he do vidarshana, what is this body? Then he gets to 32 components, or a doctor, in a person in medical profession may dissect into some more. Don't stick to 32, let it be 40. You perceive this is an impurity which is there in this seat. It loathsome in condition. And then he keeps segregating. In this impurity, there are hard elements, liquid elements, calorific or energy element or temperature element, and there's air element. If he's wise enough, if he's learned enough, he can get to 28, 24 kinds or 20 odd kinds of sium rupa kalapa. What are they? Patavi, apo, tejo, vayo is the basic hard element, liquid, energy, and air element. Then varna, gandha, rasa, oja, the color, odor, nutriment, and like that it goes. Prasada rupa, bhava rupa, vattu rupa, that's all. There's a detail if one is aware to look at it. Otherwise, 4 basic elements, knowledge will take you to vicinity of Nibbana. Experts can do that, learned can do that. So then what happened? In that posture, in that mental status, he realized, look here, there, this breathing, this body is nothing but 4 basic elements arise due to cause and effect. Of course, he realizes the body arises nothing but due to creation of thought, which is mostly kusal, wholesome, unwholesome. Craving got in, and craving led to clinging, upadhana, and that gave rise to this body, which depends on food. That's the cause and effect of the body in short summary. But one can go to details again in insight meditation. But remember, to get to vicinity of Nibbana, just perceiving mind and matter will not help unless you go through cause and effect through and through. You have to be an expert on cause and effect. You must train yourself to put that whatever frame to each sequence of your thinking or what you see, hear, smell, taste, and touch and mind, and segregate into material form. Then he proceeds further. We're coming to end of the session. Next is this, there was breathing. There was awareness. Something goes in, something coming out. That means its total inhalation, exhalation takes place due to mind activity. The day that consciousness is not there, you stop breathing. Carefully analyze it. The time that your mind formation leading to consciousness, nama, is not there, this body crashes down. You are dead. So therefore, understand through that breathing, how did I take the meditative thought? How did I sustain? How did this piti or relaxation takes place? How this sukha, the complete relaxation of the mind took place, and what was concentration? When you deeply analyze it, is nothing but the process of the mind. If you get into Abhidhamma, you can keep on explaining in a very gravitational. Don't get into that intellectual soup. Only if you understand, if you want to do, otherwise be basic. Dhamma is basic. They made it complicated, therefore people gave up. And therefore, in breathing, you realize, there is a mind element here, which is, then you realize breathing is nothing but mind and matter, or in another term, 5 aggregates: material, feeling, perception, mind formation, and consciousness. The concentrated mind is a consciousness. But you realize on that same seat that this whole mind and matter which arise due to cause and effect is nothing but arising and passing away. Something that you have to realize. if you are members of servants of Buddha, if you are practicing Dhamma, please realize arising and passing away before you close your eyes. It's a must. It's a must because that leads you to liberation. That gives you a clear picture what anitya is, what is impermanent, what is dukkha, which is not a good term in Sinhala, but in Pali, dukkha is unsatisfactoriness in condition because it's arising and passing away. And it gives back the same, it creates the same origin back and forth, back and forth. So therefore it's unsatisfactory. And finally, if something impermanent and unsatisfactory, it is nothing but no self. There's no ego, there's no self. That would put you to the vicinity of Nibbana. That will take to vicinity of Nibbana. Therefore, devotees, let us end this session by realizing that Nibbana is nothing to be wished. Buddhists in Sri Lanka keep wishing, Mata Nivan Sapa Labeva. Mehema, mehema, mehema Sapa Vidala, Nivan Sapa Labeva. Offer a katina. Are you told me pinning obata me jivite Nivan Labeva? They keep reciting some story of a priest who offered a Katina and who was enjoying comforts in the Divya, Brahma, Thero, Sakviti Rajuro. And that story is told at the Anumodana Bana, but nobody says this is a chivar offered to a person to wear that protect him from mosquitoes, flies, and whoever, what is bad, what attacks his body, to cover himself of cold and heat, and also whatever he has to cover his body so that his nudity is not exhibited. And he would wear this and develop his mind and get to Pratipatti will lead to liberation, and he would attain Nibbana. And therefore, may the one who's offering this robe to achieve Nibbana in this life itself. Tell me where it was told to you from childhood to now. I would not take a bet because I'm insulting others. I should not do it. But it's time to correct the system. Therefore, devotees of servants of Buddha, I was humbly invited by Manori Manio, who has known to me for the last 30, 40 years, through the Punyak Sestra at Dham Madura, where my meditation master, Valani Amathagaveshi Hamaduro, midst of this turmoil, within a backdrop of where Nibbana cannot be achieved, in that thing he had the guts to show the people how to attain Nibbana in this world. We followed it, being lay people at that time, married, maintaining family units. We left everything, we renunciated and got to robes to become to the vicinity of Nibbana. May I wish and bless all who are listening here or abroad, members of servants of Buddha, the wisdom, good health, especially good health, wisdom, and reasonable economic background. So this turmoil will not hinder you, that you would achieve Margapala in this life itself, or within the time where this Buddha Sasana would remain for another 1,000 odd years, but the latter part, there's no Rahatan Vahanses, or there are no facilities to meditate. People would not know how to meditate. They will only know how to offer alms. It's happening when you look around already, you can see another 1,000 years time, that's the fashion. People only give alms. Beyond that, even today to get Arupa Kamatahan, there's not a single, very, very rarely you get it. Kasina Kamatahan, all gone. Nowhere Kasina Kamatahan is done unless in a remote Aranya. So therefore, don't wait for time. Time is running out. Watch the Buddha's last words. Handadani bhikkave amantayami vo vayadhamma sankara pamadena sampade. The entire Dhamma session was based on Aneka Jati Sansaram. The utterance of him at the time of attaining, but his last words, all phenomena in the universe is uncertain. Therefore, hurry up. Time is running out. Time is running out fast. The wise, learned, respected, the circle of devotees who are listening to that, get to Margapala as soon as possible, although the entire background, entire country is burning with turmoil, hatred, and disaster. Let you develop your mind, then you will be not shaken by the 8 worldly conditions, Labha, Alabha, Asasaya, Asasa, Ninda, Prasansa, Sapaduka, which is rolling around in a big way around Sri Lanka today. Only way is by not regretting, make use of the fact that you are a learned human being who can train your mind and lead to liberation, so that you will be not unshaken by whatever happening around. May you all be happy and safe. May you attain the bliss of Nibbana. May the merit you accrued by listening to Dhamma, even meditating for a few seconds, may be conveyed to all deities and the divine who protect this Sasana and Mahasangharatna and your families. May Devas be convert this merit to Devas, the celestial ones. May they protect you and your families from the disaster which is looming around. And also may they protect my motherland and this great land where the Buddhism exists. Also may this merit be conveyed to the founders of the servants of Buddha. Dr. Cassius Perra was living close to my residence at Kalubovila. I remember him as a small child, but we didn't know his values. In front of his house, my father has his best friend. He goes there to play cards in the evening. We go and play, that's all. We didn't know that holy guy is in front of that house. That's how we missed the bus with 5,12,000 බුදුවරුන් ලෝකෙ පහළ වෙලත් අපි තාම සසර, we are still going on the bhava. That's because we missed the bus. So don't miss this bus. So therefore, the founders of servants of Buddha and the very respectable holy people who are so Alec Robertson, my mind comes to him, Bogata Premaratna, and so many personalities who kept this message of Buddha alive during the past decades. May all be conveyed this merit, and may your parents or loved ones who have deceased be conveyed this merit, and may they attain bliss of Nibbana, having born in the correct karma vachara status. May all you be happy and safe. May you be protected from all kinds of disaster looming around in your motherland. And may servants of Buddha shed this light of liberation, wisdom to the entire world. I remain with those words. Abhivadana silissa niccang vaddha pachayino sattaro dhamma vaddanti ayuvanno sukham balam ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti me vacha ato nibbana sampatti iminate samidyatu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.